Welcome to another episode of Basketballty presents I'm Basketballty. On today's show, I'll be discussing the topic, the 5 worst NBA free agent signings over the offseason. Now, before I go any further, the disclaimer that I'm putting with this episode is that this is not a case of me being like Peter Griffin in Family Guy or being like Walter Matthau or Jack Lemmon in Grumpy Old Men. There's been some fantastic free agent signings this offseason. There's also been some not so good signings. Okay, so starting off this list is number 5, Tobias Harris of the Orlando Magic. 4 years at $64 million. Yes, Tobias Harris can rebound and has shooting range that extends to the three-point line. And yes, the NBA salary cap will increase immensely the next NBA season. Nonetheless, I believe that this is a stretch in terms of the dollars and cents involved in this contract. I just don't see why Harris could not have been signed at a cheaper deal, closer to the $10-11 million mark per season, as opposed to the $16 million mark that he signed per season. Although he'll help stretch the floor, which is important given Orlando has a point guard in Elfrid Payton who doesn't shoot that well, I do believe that Harris will cause minute problems by giving Mario Hezonja and Aaron Gordon inadequate playing time. I personally believe that Willie Cauley-Stein, although that may have been a reach pick at number 5, would have provided the interior and shot blocking presence that the Magic sorely need. And Nikola Vucevic, so far in his career, hasn't proved to be that shot blocker. Put me down as a skeptic of Orlando's rebuilding plans post Dwight Howard. Number 4 on this list is Derrick Williams of the New York Knicks at 2 years, $10 million. Yes, the contract is only guaranteed for one of the 2 seasons, and yes, $5 million per year may not seem like that much on paper for a former number 2 pick in the NBA draft in 2011 that reminded people when he played at Arizona of a young Tracy McGrady. I just don't believe Derrick Williams' skill set after 4 years translates that well in the NBA. He's 6'8", 240 pounds. You know, Derrick Williams, he's shown so far that he's too undersized to play power forward, and he doesn't really have the agility or range to be a competent small forward. He put up huge numbers for Arizona in college, but this is the NBA. It's a man's league. It's not a league full of boys. You have to remember that the Pat Riley Knick teams of the 1990s, they had guys like Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley, but they also had some gutsy players that had a lot of heart and determination, like John Starks and the late Anthony Mason, who toiled away in the old CBA and in leagues in Europe before becoming NBA All-Stars. Those were the guys that really gave it their all on the court, game in, game out. I personally don't see how Derrick Williams can be even a reclamation project at this point. Number 3 on this list is Wesley Matthews of the Dallas Mavericks at 4 years, $70 million. You know, give the guy credit. For a guy that was undrafted in 2009, he's done remarkably well to have a career in the NBA for 6 seasons and counting. Well ahead of the lifespan for a player who was undrafted. But I've spoken before on Basketballty Presents that I just don't believe the Dallas Mavericks are going to be relevant this coming NBA season. And this contract is an example of why they won't be relevant. Wesley Matthews is 29, coming off a major Achilles tendon injury, which has been known to be the beginning of the end for many NBA players. He's an above-average player, yes, but an all-star, no. And that's what this contract is in terms of dollars and cents, an all-star level contract. Toss in the Achilles tendon injury he suffered, and I just don't see this as being a value for money signing. Number 2 on this list, Enes Kanter of the Oklahoma City Thunder, 4 years, $70 million. You know, when you look at his stats on paper, he did average almost 19 points and 11 rebounds per game. You know, they're numbers at the Dwight Howard level in terms of big man production, which is nothing to sneer at. However, Kanter is a player who has non-existent defensive and shot blocking instincts. Having a strong defensive skill set in the fourth quarter of an NBA game is so important. Yes, the Thunder needed to show Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook that they're all about winning, but I personally don't see the value in this contract now or in the future. It is official. The Oklahoma City Thunder are in win now mode, and with a signing such as this, I think they're in desperation mode now as well. I disagreed with the firing of Scott Brooks, considering the injury he had to deal with. It was a miracle the Thunder got to even 45 wins last year. And I think hiring Billy Donovan, a coach who's never coached at the NBA level, regardless of how much success he had in college, is a questionable move in every sense of the word. Okay, to top off this list at number 1 is an Aussie, Aron Baynes, 3 years, $20 million. Yes, I know that in terms of dollars and years on the contract, this isn't the longest nor the biggest monetary signing. And yes, I know that he's an Australian just like me, but for a 29-year-old reserve who averaged only 7 points and 5 rebounds off the bench last season, even if it were for the team I believe is maybe the most professionally run, not only in the NBA, but all of North American sports, I can't help but think that he's only worth half this contract money-wise. Anyways, that's it from another episode of Basketball D Presents. I'm Basketball D. See you next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Basketball D Presents. If you did, give me a thumbs up below and subscribe to my weekly videos.